Okay, give me a moment here. I'm just going to bring this a little bit closer. I'm not too happy with it. Got a big joint, but this camcorder just didn't pick up on it the best. So I'm moving way in. Doing a new series here. It's called the Cities of Light. And this comes from Sarah Menet, or Menet. Had a chance to listen to her on YouTube last night, or the last couple of days. And I tell you, America's in for a ride. She's going to be brought right down in between the natural events that's going to happen and the biological release and earthquakes, Russian invasion, long winter. That if you're not in a place of refuge or a city of light, you're going to become you're going to be in trouble, right? So I thought, well, what can I do about it? Well, we have to be prepared in our heart, first of all. We have to be living in this sacred place of the Most High in Psalms 91. If we're not there, we're just not going to make it. Stand a chance of making it through, and the time's coming. So there's been lots of people warning. You know, I spend a lot of time listening to what the Lord has shown Ephraim Rodriguez and Augusto Perez, another watchman on the wall. And we got some times coming that if we don't have our hearts ready, then we're not going to make it. But one of the things that really stood out when I listened to Sarah Menet, and what the Lord showed her back in the 70s, she's the one that saw the Twin Towers going down. I'm just going to move in a little bit closer here. And move my camera over. Maybe right about there. You saw the Twin Towers going down, okay? And she said that these people looked like they knew in advance what was coming, and they did something to prepare. So this is where the Cities of Light series is coming from. And I'm going to have different topics. The diagram that I had before you, the Lord first gave me this about 10 years ago when I actually became homeless in Vancouver, on Vancouver Island. And I actually designed this building as a place where you could have a place to sleep. This would be your walk-in. You know, this is the bottom of your walkway here. And this is the top here, so a person that's 6 foot tall like myself could walk in there, pull the bed down from the wall, and have a place to sleep, shelter, at least a portable shelter. And in the places that Sarah Monet was shown by the Lord, she saw groups of people, maybe several hundred people, and groups of thousands, and many of them were living in, they were living in just tarps or tents, blankets with a pole in the middle holding it up. So it looked like many got cut off guard, but at least they were able to scramble some supplies together, So that's what these containers, this could be a sleeping container. And, I'd like to bring this to you in another setting. And these little cabins. But if you reduce them down to about this size, so you can actually make a little container for grain storage or food storage or dry storage. But you need a container that's going to be able to keep out the rats, keep out the mice, You need a container that's going to be insulated, have some kind of foam insulation in there, at least 1.5 inch foam, and with a 3/4 inch or 5/8 wood liner. And so this is what I'm proposing. So we'll just ignore this yellow here. This is meant for the cabin design. And all you out there that are know how to TIG weld and make things out of aluminum, I'm sure that you would appreciate this. And you carpenters out there, you guys can work together to make a unit that's going to be portable, that you can still carry, and you can even bury this on site, or if you know where a safe place is going to be, you could actually have it all prepped and already in place and buried. You could bury this in the ground somewhere. God knows where it's at. So when the time comes, he'll just give a word of knowledge or in a vision. He'll say, "Go over there, dig there, and you're going to find this container of goods." So I'm really believing that. So in the time that we have, we need to do something. And another thing that really caught my attention when I was listening to Sarah Menet's vision was that the people there, they weren't concerned about their own welfare. They were concerned about those that were coming in. They were more concerned about their neighbor more so than themselves, right? So that's the love of God. When you come to the place where you take your eyes off yourself and you worry about others, and God's going to respect that. And He's going to say, well, since you're in a position where you love others more than yourself, well, I'm going to take care of you. Then God's hand of protection is going to be on you, and His provision is going to be on you. So these cities of light that are coming forth, it tells me that they're going to be people who love others more than themselves. That's the mentality. That's the makeup of those that's going to make it through in these times of pestilence and disease, fireballs from space, invasion by Russia, Chinese EMP, biologicals being released. These are the ones that are going to make it, right, to be here when the Lord comes, because there is going to be a people that's going to be here when the Lord returns in glory, where every eye is going to see. And during this time, when I was listening to her vision, I didn't say anything about the mark of the beast going forth. And more or less looked like there was just a total crash, escalation of events that were compounded, just judgment upon judgment upon judgment, judgment with mercy. And, it's getting worse and worse and worse, especially in the long winter, where, the whole world was brought into the fullness of a global famine. And so while we still have means and ways to prepare, we need to do something, okay? So I'm just doing my part. I'm trying to love my neighbor, and the Lord has given me much on survival over these past 30-some years, and I just want to share it with you. But you need to take this and do something about it, just like with the Joe Pipe heater series. I made 7 videos there. If you take that, you're going to have a means of being able to have generate your own fuel, heat, hot water, and power in the times that are coming, but you're going to have to do it. So this here, you actually got a means which you could actually store all this and be able to preserve. So basically, it's get down to brass tacks here. We're going to say that if you're a metal fabricator, you're using say 1/16 aluminum, it might be 30 seconds. that your outside is going to be 12 inch, 12 inch, 12 inch. So you're going to have 72 inches. That means you're going to have to, you're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4. That's going to use up a 4 foot by however long. This is what your container is going to look like. This is going to be your outer shell. They could be shorter. They could be half this distance or shorter. You want to make them one size, so you could actually have 2 halves go together to make a length like this. Okay. So what you're looking at is the end view here. Okay, up there. That's what you're looking at. And you're so if you're using 4x8 by 3/16, 3/32 aluminum skin, you could pre-make your your outside shell, and you can pre-make your back, so your back panel is welded in, and you can pre-make your front panel, but don't weld it in, right? And so you got you can make a jig where you can make these pretty fast. You would end up having a couple of seams, or if you're breaking 24-inch panels into uh, where it'll actually be easier, you're going to have 1, 2, 3 welds, and you want to be able to weld the outside and also weld the inside. You want this to be strong. You want it to be to where you're not going to have pinholes, and it's not going to break. So you fabricators out there, I'm sure this is easy enough for you to do. You know, I've worked in a fabrication shop. I have a little understanding what I'm talking about. We may have to do a part 2 on this. And I'm not even sure what I'm going to call it. Maybe prep series, preparation series, or prep storage. We'll see if that works. It's going to be Cities of Light Prep Storage -1. We'll go like that, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4. So you got your outside skin, and on the inside, you can make your carpenters out there. You can fabricate a box using 5/8 plywood, and so you could actually put your end plates in on the back, your end plate on the front. Now, how you in this case here, you don't have your opening is going to be hexagonal, right? Point up, point down. Your hexagonal is going to end up being flat, just like this. And to get that, you go from point to point, point to point, point to point, all the way around. You end up getting this configuration. And so you can actually make a wood box that's complete all the way around, backside, front side. And what you do, you suspend that in the aluminum. You want it 1.5 inches off the bottom, or whatever your insulation is going to be. You can have holes pre-drilled in your wooden box. You can just go inside with a foam machine, and you just spray inject your foam, or you can spray inject your foam around and do your back, do your front. You want to make sure that that this is equidistant all the way around. Leave that set up. Then on your front, I know welding's going to play havoc with your foam. I have to work that out. And anyway, say you could probably turn your panel reversed, right? So you'd have a lip on the edge. So this would be inserted, and you would make your weld like this. This is something that we're going to have to work out yet. I need to work with you guys out there. You know, this is for you. It's not for me. I'm just the ideas guy. You know, the Lord has made me the ideas man. He shows me how to do it. And I could do it if I had the shop and all that. If I don't have the shop, you guys got the shop. Get together and start doing this. So anyway, you might have to use maybe some kind of foam insulation, store-bought foam insulation to put on the top. But anyway, say if you got that on and you got it tack welded around, you know, if you got your lip going like this, that might be able to get rid of the heat where it's not going to melt your styrofoam. Not going to do too much damage. So you got everything's in there. You got it foamed. You got your top foam on. You got your aluminum end cap set in place, reversed, and then you want to make an insert that goes in, right? Because your wall is going to be about you got your steel, aluminum, 1.5 inch foam, and 5/8 wood. So you can have about 2¼ inches. So you want to make like a cone that's going to go in, like a flange with about a 2½ inch insert. And then on top of that, you could actually have this is, you know, your opening here, so your panel's going to be like that. I should have drawn that in. So you could actually have a bolt, and bolt. You could actually have it welded on. You know, you put the bolts, weld the bolts right onto the face, and then you can make up a hatch that will go over, like an insulated hatch that will go over, and you can bolt it down, and it all be sealed. Okay, you guys can fabricate it. It's easy enough to do, and you can make it airtight, where you could actually pump the air out. You could pump in nitrogen if you're preserving food, but you would have a container that's, you know, you could do with this with it, you could do this with it, you could put it two together, you could stack them one on top of each other. You got something that's going to do the job. You could throw in the back of your truck. You could dig a hole and you could bury it, or whatever. You could actually, you know, prep the stuff that you need in advance. You got a container system. You can put your stuff in that you can need for long term. Bring it up to the places of light. You know, ask the Lord where the stuff's supposed to go, or just and then just go up there and drop it off, or you know what I mean. Okay, so this is the City of Light series, and I think I'm going to call this Prep Storage. This is Joshua Taylor coming to you from here in Prince Edward Island. I'll soon be going back to Edmonton, so to be able to maybe get this going from there.